I think it's the connection that we have to the photographs. And I think a lot of the time, and I was going to ask you about this because I did see it on your wrist, a lot of the time we share the same intimate connection with, you know, watches or vintage
Yeah.
cars, and we share that kind of emotional draw to them because of a shared experience, or because something that we link to that thing. Can
Hmm.
you talk to me a little bit about the Vacheron on your wrist?
So this one is I've worked with Vacheron now for, I think, Vacheron Constantin, the oldest Swiss watchmaker in the world. I think I've worked with them for 7 or 8 years now. We did a collaboration on a watch that was taken to Everest for that attempt on the northeast face, and it was beautiful. And this watch is not that. This is my everyday. It's part of the overseas collection. But I think you bring up a really interesting point about objects with soul. And we can identify that when we walk into a building. Certain buildings have a feeling, whether we want to acknowledge that as something ethereal or not. We all know what it means like to walk into a building that has a feeling. And it doesn't have to be some grand building. It can be a house. It can be a very small structure. And I think, and watches are the same. And I think what that is these objects are either imbued with a sense of history and living, and that experience of the structure has somehow taken that on. Or when it comes to things like watches, cars, there is a sense of the amount of effort and taken to put into them, to make them, that is palpable. There's a sense of care. There's a sense of refinement and perfection, to the degree that we can attain it, that makes the object feel alive. And specific to watches, I think watches are emblematic of time, and time is our most valuable commodity. It's not even a possession, but you can't buy it. You can't reverse it. It just is. And so watches, I think, are emblematic of that. Even in some small way, they remind us that this is finite.
Absolutely. And I think that's actually a really beautiful thing. It's funny how fast time goes, isn't it? Like when you're younger, you think you have so much time, and then all of a sudden it's like you're 30, now you're 40, now you're fit. It's like, it's so fast.
It's fast. It's funny. There's a concept called time dilation, where time both goes slower and faster, sometimes concurrently, sometimes differently. I mean, Einstein sort of proved that, right? Like, it's not just like this ethereal concept. It's like time literally speeds up and slows down, and depending on the circumstance that we're in, the brain sort of has a hard time making sense of what's happening fast and slow. And it's a really interesting thing because, as you point out, like, you remember the sort of the dog days of summer when you're little and you're just like, oh my God, it's hot. These days are forever. And you can just do so much. And then as you grow up, and I'm considered middle-aged now because I'm in my mid-40s. All of a sudden, like, weeks tick past, months tick past, years tick past. And then, my dad very recently passed away. He hated that. My dad died. He hated past.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you. It was the best thing. But it was so interesting to be there with him as he was going through these final days of his life, and to see that all of the acquisition, all of the amassing of knowledge, of things, books, whatever it is, it's all it's all completely obsolete at the end. And time, as it passes, I would hope for most people, would illuminate the massive futility of what we spend so much of our energy trying to do or get. And if we allow it, time teaches us everything. And coincidentally, and kind of in a fucked up way, time might not exist at all. It's just the way our reality occurs to us.
With all that in mind, what do you think the meaning of life is?
Oof.
It's a big question.
It's a big question. And look, all of this is going to go away someday. Earth, the solar system, sun, all these planets, it's just going to go away. And eventually the last word that was ever written, the last piece of paper, the last letter, all the invention, all of this will just cease to exist. And I think a lot of people think of that as very, very sort of overwhelming. And they think, well, that makes me feel sort of like nihilistic, or like, what's the point? And I think we all have moments of that in our lives where we're like, what the fuck is the point? And I think it's a good question to ask. I look at that as very liberating, because it means that I get to choose where I put meaning. I get to choose what I spend my time doing. And for me, the meaning of life is boiled down most simply to love. And I don't mean romantic love. I mean love, like the huge umbrella of love that makes space for every single thing. As horrible as it might be, we can always draw the circle wider to love. We can love it for its totality. We can love it for the pain it causes. We can love it because it causes pain. We can, if we allow ourselves there. So if there is a meaning at all, it would be love. And by virtue of that, it would be service. To be of service of humanity, to be of service of the people we love and the people we don't know. And, you know, I think we all get to define our purpose in regards to that. And there is no sense of, there's no extension of service that is too small. And just because you make money for it doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad. The conflict in that, the problem with that is many people have different ideas of what the best act of service is, and they're often contradictory. But if you see through that and you can see somebody is trying to be of service, then we can always appreciate that. Doesn't mean we have to like what people are doing.
If you guys enjoyed that clip, please do me a huge favor before you go and head over to our Into the Mind podcast official page, where we have the raw, uncut Into the Mind podcast, and hit that subscribe button. And the more subscribers we get, the more incredible guests we can get on the show. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all real soon.